If you've ever felt your heart race at a sound no one else noticed, or your stomach tighten when someone raises their voice, you already know something important. The body remembers. Maybe you've caught yourself apologizing for overreacting when you didn't feel safe, even though nothing bad was happening in that moment. Or maybe you're the opposite. You feel nothing at all when you should. You go numb in conversations. You stare at the ceiling at 3 a.m., awake but far away. Here's the quiet truth many of us live inside. When the past doesn't rest, the present doesn't either. A smell, a look, a phrase, the way footsteps sound in a hallway. These small things can drag us into old rooms where the air was thin and the choices were few. If that's you, there's nothing wrong with you. Your body did exactly what it needed to do to keep you alive. But survival has side effects. Defenses that once protected you can start to close off your life. You begin to feel like you're living behind glass, watching yourself perform the role of okay. And it's exhausting. Imagine, just for a second, a different morning. You wake up and there's space in your chest. Your breath feels like it belongs to you. The day ahead still has tasks, still has stress, but it doesn't feel like a test you're destined to fail. Your body isn't an enemy, it's a companion. That's what this conversation is about. Not pretending the past was fine and not getting stuck there either. It's about understanding how your body keeps the score and how to gently, persistently rewrite it so your future can breathe. The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk is one of those books that doesn't just explain trauma, it changes how you feel about what's possible. Van der Kolk has spent decades sitting with people whose nervous systems were doing their best to survive even when life had moved on. This book is his map of what trauma does to the brain and body and what kinds of healing allow us not only to cope, but to reclaim aliveness. The essence is simple, even if the work isn't. Trauma reshapes how we sense and respond to the world. It's not only a story we can retell from a safe distance, it's sensations, impulses, and patterns living in our muscles, our breath, our posture, our sleep, our attention, our relationships. And because trauma lives in the body, healing must include the body. If you stay with me, you won't just hear ideas. You'll get a set of practices, gentle enough to begin today, strong enough to change the arc of a life when repeated with care. You'll learn why the alarm system in your brain can hijack your day, how to create islands of safety you can actually stand on, and how movement, breath, mindful attention, community, and specific therapies can shift your nervous system from constant defense into greater regulation. You'll see how memory isn't only what you think, but also what you feel and avoid feeling. And you'll discover ways to befriend your body so it becomes a place you can inhabit without bracing or numbing. By the end, I want you to carry more than knowledge. I want you to carry permission, the permission to respect your defenses without letting them run your life, to take small steps that add up, and to believe that your body is capable of learning safety, even if you've spent years believing it couldn't. Let's begin with something most of us sense but rarely name. Trauma is not just what happened. Trauma is what happened inside us because of what happened. It's the body's adaptation when life felt overwhelming, threatening, or inescapable. In danger, your nervous system makes fast decisions. It sounds the alarm to mobilize you to fight or flee. If neither is possible, it can shut you down. Those responses are brilliant in the moment. The problem comes when the alarm no longer knows what time it is. You're at work, or at dinner, or trying to sleep, and your body behaves as though you're still trapped in the old moment. Imagine your inner smoke detector going off when you only burnt toast. The alarm is loud, you can't think clearly, you snap at people you love, or you freeze and can't find words. Inside your brain, the regions that sense threat can hijack the ones that make measured choices. That's why just calm down rarely works when you're flooded. And it's why logic alone doesn't heal trauma. When your body thinks you're in a burning house, it acts like it. How does this show up in daily life? You avoid places or people that remind you of the past. You are always braced for the bad thing to happen again. You dissociate and miss whole stretches of time. Or you chase intensity because quiet feels unsafe. If any of this sounds familiar, pause and ask yourself a compassionate question. What did your body learn it had to do to keep you safe? You may find that your symptoms are evidence of your nervous system's loyalty to your survival. So what helps? The first step is not doing more, but noticing more. You can't negotiate with alarms you can't hear. Start by tracking your own signals. Where does anxiety live in your body? Is it a tight throat, a shallow breath, a heat in the face, or coldness in the hands, a knot in the belly? Do you tend to speed up or shut down? Build a small daily ritual to check in. Put one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Breathe and count slowly as air moves in and out. Ask, without judgment, what am I feeling right now, and where do I feel it? You are building a bridge between your noticing and your nervous system. Why does it matter? Because when you can notice earlier, you can intervene earlier. Many people only realize they're overwhelmed after they've said something they regret or numbed out for hours. We want to notice 2 steps before that. Common barriers here include shame and impatience. Shame says, I shouldn't feel like this, other people are fine. Impatience says, if I'm still having these reactions, I'm failing. Both are understandable. Both will slow you down. If you can, treat these voices as frightened messengers, not enemies. They're part of your internal protection team. You don't have to silence them. Just acknowledge them and return to the breath. Breath and body awareness aren't soft, they're structural. Trauma often shortens the breath, tightens the diaphragm, and puts you on high alert. When you lengthen your exhale, you send a signal of safety to your body. Try this now. Inhale gently through the nose for 4, hold for 2, exhale through the mouth for 6. Do 3 rounds. Notice whether your front of your ribs can move. If your chest and belly feel like armor, try adding a slow shoulder roll with each exhale. You are telling your body there's room. Over time, simple practices like this change your baseline. You might begin to sleep a bit better. Your fuse lengthens. You recover faster after a tough interaction. If you've tried before and it didn't work, try smaller doses. 30 seconds, several times a day is often better than 15 minutes once a week. Also, pair it with something you already do. Each time you wash your hands or sit down at your computer, take 3 breaths. Think of it like nervous system hygiene. Another core insight is that your body speaks in sensations and impulses, not just words. Many trauma memories are stored not as coherent stories, but as fragments, a flash of light, a sound, a smell, a feeling of being trapped. When those fragments arise, the thinking mind often scrambles to make sense of them. Sometimes it invents explanations that aren't accurate, which can create confusion or conflict. Instead, practice meeting the fragment at the level it appears. If a sudden tightness shows up in your throat, you don't need to know the entire story behind it. You can respond to the tightness itself. Gentle touch, a sip of water, A soft hum on the exhale or loosening a collar can signal safety. If your hands are shaking, open and close your fists slowly. Place your palms together and press. You are talking to your body in its own language. A common barrier here is self-judgment. You might hear an inner voice that says, "This is silly, I should be stronger, I'm being dramatic." That voice likely learned early that expressing needs was risky. Thank it for trying to help. Then return to the practice. Ask yourself, if my body could speak freely right now, what would it say? Let the answer be simple. I'm scared. I'm lonely. I'm angry. I'm tired. Then ask, what would help me feel 10% safer in this moment? Not perfect, just 10%. Maybe it's turning on a light, stepping outside for air, wrapping in a blanket, texting a friend, or standing up and shaking out your arms. Safety is the foundation of all healing. Without safety, insight doesn't land and practices don't stick. Safety has layers. There's the outer layer, your environment, your routines, the people you're around. And there's the inner layer, how you relate to your own sensations, thoughts, and emotions. Begin with what you can influence today. Look at your daily spaces. Is your bedroom a place your body associates with rest or with scrolling through spirals of thought? Can you remove one stressor and add one cue of comfort? Maybe you put your phone to charge outside the room, add blackout curtains, or keep a journal by the bed to offload racing thoughts before sleep. In the places where you work or study, notice your posture. Are you constantly hunched, jaw clenched, breath shallow? Put a post-it somewhere discreet that says, drop shoulders, soften jaw, long exhale. These micro adjustments tell your body it doesn't have to brace all day. In relationships, safety means consistency and attunement. Who are the people with whom your body exhales? Make a list. Then deliberately increase contact with them, even brief. A 2-minute check-in call with someone who sees you can recalibrate an entire afternoon. Also consider boundaries as acts of safety, not selfishness. Saying no to what overwhelms you is saying yes to nervous system health. If saying no is hard, script it. You can write, I appreciate the invite. I'm at capacity right now and need to pass. Thanks for understanding. You can be kind and clear at the same time. Another thread in this work is movement. Trauma often freezes us in positions of defense. Movement melts that freeze. It helps complete protective responses that got stuck. Try simple rhythmic movement that reinforces a steady tempo, walking, gentle cycling, dancing in your kitchen to one song. If you can, match your steps to your breath. 4 steps in, 4 steps out. Let your arms swing. The goal is not athletic achievement. It's regulation. Practices like yoga can be powerful because they blend breath, attention, and posture. There's no need to force deep stretches. Think of it as curious exploration. Where am I holding? Can I breathe there? If a pose triggers anxiety, back off. The point is choice. Every time you choose your pace, you teach your body it has agency now. A barrier here is the belief that you must push hard to make progress. That belief might come from a time when you had to push to survive. In healing, force often backfires. Go slower. Feel more. Mindful attention is another pathway. It's not about emptying your mind. It's about widening your awareness so sensations can rise and fall without you being dragged by them. Try this. Sit comfortably. Choose one anchor, your breath, the feeling of your feet on the floor, or the sounds in the room. For 2 minutes, notice what happens. When thoughts pull you, name them softly. Planning, memory, worry, judgment. Then return to your anchor. This is training your watchtower, the part of the mind that can observe without becoming overwhelmed. Over time, this watchful awareness helps you catch triggers earlier and respond with choice. If you feel yourself spiraling, you can say, I am having a memory, but I'm here. I am feeling fear, but I also feel the chair under me. That both and stance reduces the power of flashbacks or shutdowns. If you tend to dissociate, add gentle orientation. Look around and name 5 colors you can see, 3 sounds you can hear, 1 texture under your fingers. Orienting brings your attention back into the present scene. Some people benefit from specific therapies that help the brain and body process trauma. One approach uses bilateral stimulation while you recall aspects of a memory, helping the nervous system digest what was stuck. Another approach involves learning to notice and tolerate body sensations linked to threat until your system realizes you are safe now. There are also ways of training your brain's rhythms with feedback, helping it find a steadier pattern. If these sound like a fit, consider speaking with trained clinicians who specialize in trauma. The key is fit and safety. Ask questions. Do I feel respected here? Do I feel rushed? Does my body tense or settle in this room? Trust those signals. Healing is not a one-size-fits-all race. It's a relationship with your nervous system. It should include choice. Community matters as much as technique. Trauma isolates. It teaches you to mistrust, to scan for danger, to hide what you feel. The antidote is not just private practice, it is safe connection. Find spaces where shared movement, rhythm, and voice exist. Choirs, drumming circles, community yoga, theater groups, small peer circles where people listen without fixing. These can offer a different nervous system experience. In a group, your body can borrow regulation from others. Your breath synchronizes. Your heart rate variability changes. You feel the relief of being part of something alive and supportive. At first, joining groups may feel risky. Start small. Sit near the exit if that helps. Give yourself permission to step out and return. Let your body learn that presence can be safe and enjoyable. Over time, you may notice you laugh more easily, your shoulders drop sooner, and your capacity for closeness grows. Let's talk about memory and narrative. Many people feel pressure to tell the whole story, to lay out the timeline, to make it coherent. That can be healing in the right context, but it also can overwhelm. Instead, think of your story as something you assemble gently at the pace of your body. Sometimes your body wants drawing more than talking. Sometimes it wants writing more than speaking. Sometimes it wants to move without words at all. Give yourself options. If you write, try 5 minutes of free writing, starting with the sentence, "Right now, I notice." Keep your hand moving without editing. Stop. Take 3 breaths. Then ask, what part of me needs attention? Write for 3 more minutes. This kind of writing helps you integrate experience without forcing exposure. If you speak, choose someone who listens with care. Set agreements. We'll speak for 10 minutes. We'll pause to breathe if either of us feels overwhelmed. Your story will come into coherence as your body feels safer. It doesn't have to be perfect to be healing. Parts of you will still resist. That's normal. You might have an inner critic who believes you don't deserve to feel good, or a vigilant guard who scans constantly for threat, or a racing achiever who says you only matter if you keep producing. Instead of battling these parts, get curious. They formed to protect you. You can thank them for their service and invite them to update their job description. Ask your vigilant part, what are you afraid will happen if you rest for 5 minutes? Ask your achiever, what would be enough today? Ask your critic, what are you trying to prevent me from feeling? These questions turn conflict into relationship. Over time, protective parts learn to trust that you, the present day you, can lead. This internal cooperation reduces the frequency and intensity of inner wars. Let's bring this into a daily plan you can actually use. Morning. Before you touch your phone, sit up and take 6 slow breaths, extending the exhale. Place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Ask, what do I need from myself to feel a little safer today? Write one sentence in a notebook. Midday. Schedule a regulation break. 2 minutes. Stand up, shake your arms and legs, roll your shoulders, exhale with an audible sigh. Orient to the room by naming 5 objects you see. Evening. Turn off bright screens 30 minutes before bed. Place your feet on the floor. Do a simple body scan. Crown of head, face, jaw, neck, shoulders, chest, belly, hips, legs, feet. Where is there tension? Breathe into those places and imagine releasing 5% of the hold. If sleep is hard, don't fight it aggressively. That creates more pressure. Instead, accept wakefulness with kindness. Lie on your side and count your breaths up to 10. Then start again. If thoughts race, write them down and tell yourself, I'll tend to this tomorrow at 10 a.m. Make a calendar note and close the notebook. Your nervous system relaxes when it knows there's a plan. What about triggers you can't predict? Build a personal now check. When you feel a surge of fear, anger, or collapse, pause and ask 3 questions. What do I see right now? What do I feel in my body right now? What is one small action that would help me feel safer? The action could be stepping outside, texting a friend with a code word like need a steady voice, or placing a hand on the back of your neck and breathing. If you're in a conversation that's escalating, you can say, I care about this and I want to respond well. I need a 5-minute pause to collect myself. Then actually take it. Walk, breathe, return. This is not avoidance. It's regulation in service of connection. If you are parenting or caring for kids who have experienced stress or trauma, your presence is the medicine. Kids don't always tell you what they feel, but their bodies will show it. Tantrums, withdrawal, stomach aches, sleep struggles. Your job is to be a stable nervous system they can borrow. That looks like predictable routines, clear boundaries, and lots of co-regulation. Before discipline, do connection. Get low, make eye contact if they welcome it, and breathe slowly so they can match you. Name their feelings without judgment. You're angry and your body is loud right now. I'm right here. Let them move the energy safely, stomping, jumping, pushing a wall, pounding a pillow, then address the behavior. When you repair after you lose your cool, you teach them that relationships can survive conflict. If they're older, offer choices that restore agency. Do you want to talk, draw, or just sit together? Do you want music or quiet? Safety plus agency builds resilience. Nutrition, sleep, and rhythms won't heal trauma on their own, but neglecting them makes everything harder. Eat regularly enough that your blood sugar doesn't crash you into irritability or anxiety. Keep hydration simple. Set a reminder to drink water at mid-morning and mid-afternoon. Aim for natural light early in the morning to cue your body's clock. If you can't get outside, stand by a window for 2 minutes and look at the sky. These small physiological anchors support your emotional work. Some of the most hopeful parts of this journey is that progress rarely looks like perfection. It looks like a bigger window, a wider range between overwhelm and shutdown. Moments that used to send you into a spiral now lead to a wobble you can recover from. You might still get startled by a slammed door, but you come back in minutes instead of hours. You might still avoid certain conversations, but you can name why and propose a next step. You might still wake at night, but you have tools that bring you back. Track this progress. At the end of the day, write 3 lines. A moment I noticed my body. A moment I chose regulation. A moment I felt even a little alive. This is not toxic positivity. It's accurate accounting. Your nervous system needs evidence that you're changing. Give it. There's also a deep spiritual dimension to this work, whether or not you use that word. When you befriend your body, you reconnect with the sense of home inside yourself. Many people who carry trauma feel like guests in their own lives. Befriending your body is how you take up residence. It's how you learn to trust your cues and honor your needs. It's how you allow pleasure back in, not just the loud kind, but the quiet joys of sun on skin, a warm mug in your hands, a familiar song you hum without thinking. Pleasure can feel dangerous at first. That's okay. Take it in sips. Let it be a practice. Your body can learn that good things too are safe to feel. Now, let me connect with you directly. Imagine it's late evening. The day was heavier than you admitted. You did your tasks, you replied to messages, said no worries, kept it moving. But your shoulders never really came down from your ears. You walk into your kitchen and everything is quiet. You lean on the counter. The urge is to open your phone, scroll, and blur out. But there's another option tonight. You put the phone face down. You place a glass of water beside the sink. You turn the faucet on low and listen. You put a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly and breathe as if you're teaching a child how to breathe. You whisper to yourself, I'm here. I survived that day. I can feel a little more now. You notice a pressure behind your sternum. It's grief, maybe, or anger, or the simple ache of having a body that's carried more than it should for too long. Instead of overriding it, you make space. You bend your knees slightly. You sway. You exhale with sound, a soft hum you feel in your throat and ribs. You let your shoulders round, then roll them back and down like opening a stuck window. For 60 seconds, you do nothing fancy. You just show up for yourself. And because you show up, something shifts. Whatever tomorrow demands, you won't meet it empty. You'll meet it with a little more room inside. Here's my challenge to you beginning today. Pick one thing from this conversation and act on it within the next hour, not tomorrow, today. Maybe it's 3 slow breaths before you stand up from your chair. Maybe it's sending a message to someone who helps your body feel seen. Maybe it's stepping outside and feeling air on your face for 1 song's length. Or maybe it's writing 1 sentence. What I want my body to know is that I won't abandon it anymore. Choose. Do it. Then notice what changes. Even slightly. Momentum grows from small signals of safety repeated over time. As we close, remember this. Your body kept you alive. It kept score because it cared. Now you get to teach it a new game. You are not broken for bracing. You are not wrong for numbing. Those were intelligent adaptations to overwhelming moments. The task now is different. It's not to win a war inside, it's to end it. To practice until your breath belongs to you. to move until your posture tells the truth about your worth, to connect until your nervous system recognizes the faces of people who are safe to love. There will be days when you feel like you're back at the beginning. You're not. Healing is not a straight line, it's a spiral. Each time you return to practices, you return with more capacity than before. Keep a small promise to yourself every day. Keep a record of those promises kept. If you seek professional help, do so with the same respect you deserve. Ask for fit, for warmth, for collaboration. Build your life around islands of safety and expand them until they connect. And carry this one line with you when the old alarms sound louder than your hope. The body capped the score, yes, but with care, patience, and practice, the body can also learn the song of safety. Let that be your anthem when you forget. Let that be your compass when you doubt. And let it be the gentle drum you march to as you become more fully alive.